Hey, it's Larry, the Curious Canadian. And you know what? I listen to Canadians and other people back and forth on the internet talking about Canada. And they ask the question: is Canada a good country? Is it an average country? Or is it a shithole country? Wow, that's pretty strong. Shithole country. I'm just looking here. I did lose some chub here. Had some lady call me a fat bastard. She called me a fat bastard. I just got back from a heavy vacation. Been working out. I've already lost 15 pounds in about 7 days. So sorry, not to go on, but the chin has definitely come down. So I feel much better about myself. Anyways, is Canada really? Is it a shithole country? You know, there was a time, like I say, 20 years ago, somebody said Canada was a shithole country. People would just laugh at them and say, "Get out of here! You don't know what you're talking about." But let's look at some of the statistics here. And the only way you can figure out if Canada is an average country, a great country, or a shithole country is to look at some of the provinces. And like right now, I live in beautiful British Columbia. I moved back to British Columbia because I was born and raised in Kamloops. I bought property at the Shuswap Lake a long, long time ago. I built a house here, and my plans were always to retire in BC, beautiful British Columbia, and I did. And there's times where I regret it because the government here is so incompetent and so stupid, and the people here aren't very bright either. Sorry, if you're a British Columbian and you vote NDP or Libtard, you're not bright, okay? That's all I can tell you. So let's understand what's going on. BC is going to run, that's what they're saying, a $13.3 billion deficit. Okay, they're going to be in the hole after inheriting a $6 billion surplus years ago. Now we're going to be in the hole, 13.3 billion. I don't even know how that's possible. And if you look at it, BC's rich in everything. I could go on for days, but we're rich in all kinds of minerals like copper, gold, silver. We're rich in coal. We even have a product called molybdenum. Say that 16 times. But anyways, very few countries have that material. It's used in steel to make steel harder. It's also used in lubricants and other products, and it's worth its weight in gold. And we have lots of that. We've got forestry, right? But all the mills are closed. I don't know why. We have pulp and paper. That's not going too well. We've got fishing. That's non-existent. We've got natural gas. We've got all kinds of water. And most importantly, we have hydroelectric power in abundance. And all of a sudden, we can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like BC seems to be handcuffed right now. Even with all the natural gas that they want right now from all around the world, we can't seem to get our, you know what, out of our own way. So they say that mining alone creates $11 billion worth of revenue for British Columbia annually. And how's that working for us? Not very well. Now we're going to go and look at what's going on with the Indigenous people in British Columbia, and it's not good. They say that the Indigenous people have that much power over us that they can start taking our land. We saw what happened in Richmond, and now we're hearing about what's potentially going on in Kamloops, where they want to take my hometown, the entire city of Kamloops. They want to take that. Then they're going to work their way across the rest of the province. And David Eby won't expose us to who these people are. We won't have any open public debates. There's no conversation. It says David Eby's going to do the spade work for them. Why would David Eby do the spade work for the Indigenous people? He works for us, right? Why can't we fire him for doing that? He's working for the enemy because that's who they are right now. If they want to take our land, they need to come and tell us how and why they get that land. And we know it's all for the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. So they're going to use the poor Indigenous people as stooges to do all the spade work and get out there and create all this havoc. And then the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and the United Nations, who are unelected bodies, we don't elect them. They don't work for us. They're going to scoop in and they're going to take all our houses and all our property and say, "Thank you very much, Indigenous people, for being pigeons," because that's what they're going to be. Now let's look at Alberta. Let's move over a province. Alberta is so disgruntled right now. They're sitting on all this oil. They would be the wealthiest country in the world by far if they separate. And I hope that they do. And they can't get along with Canada. They're tired of Canada. They want out because they're just being abused. They're like the cash cow that gets raped. And I hate using that word because that's what happens to them. They're the cash cow. They're the hen that lays the golden eggs. And they get taken advantage of all the time. I can't believe that so many Albertans, okay, are willing to sign a formal citizens petition, okay, for independence. That's what they want to do. They want to sign, or they sign this document. They want to separate from Canada. And who's right behind them? You know who's right behind them? Good old Saskatchewan. You know what? Common Senseville. That's what I call it. Saskatchewan people are some of the greatest people in Canada. And you know what? They're pissed off. But they're going to watch their friends in Alberta do what they're going to do. Then they're going to ride coattails with them and say, adios amigos. That's how great Canada is. They want out too. So if you're one of these nut bars, elbows up idiots, there's nothing to put your elbows up about, okay? Wake up, pull this finger, pull it right out of your nasal cavity and wake the F up, because Canada is being systematically destroyed. It's not by accident, and the only way they're going to get away with it is dodos like you, if you're one of these people that support the NDP or the libtards, okay? If you're one of those morons, you're going to be responsible for destroying your own country, and that's what's going on right now. So Saskatchewan's got one foot out the door. Then look at Ontario, the hub of Canada. That's where all the industry is, right? The bulk of the industry is in Ontario. And look what's happened there. They have a moron, and I've mentioned this before, okay? Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, the idiot, okay, who thinks he's the president of the world, I guess, and he wants to take on Donald Trump. Who cares? Don't worry about Donald Trump. Trump's only going to be around for 3 more years. We're going to have to deal with the Americans forever. And they've been really, really good to us. And we shouldn't be pissing them off right now just because you've got this, whatever you want to call it, we'll call it a hard-on for Donald Trump, because that's what you got, okay? So knock it off. They've got all kinds of issues. People are leaving, their healthcare is a disaster, and they're going to run a $13.4 billion deficit as well. The genius Tommy Boy is going to have another disaster, just like British Columbia. I guess it's not as bad when you look at the size of Ontario, and BC and Ontario are going to run similar deficits this year. That's disgusting. The other one is Quebec, and Quebec, they're the baby. They're the little baby. They've always been the baby. They're the little Frenchies. They say, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you have to treat us like this, and you know what? They always win. You know why they always win? Because they got the Laurentian families that live out there. They've got all the wealthy families that started this country a long time ago, all along that coast there near Ottawa. And you know what? Those people know how to negotiate, and they own their politicians, and they know they own their politicians because they always get what they want. But you know what? That is Quebec, and we suffer with that all the time. So, to take it back, is Canada a shithole country? Is it an average country? Is it a great country? Well, it's not a shithole country yet, but it's on its way to being a shithole country. It's average at best, and at one time, Canada was great. Canada stood for a whole lot of things, wonderful things. We were even good at hockey. You remember that? And I'm not going to rub this in, but you know what? We can't even win at hockey anymore. We're second class. And people say, oh, don't say that. It was only one game and we played well. We did, but there was a time where Canada was money in the bank. Canadians were confident. We knew we were going to win. And you know what? I kept hearing all the same mouthpieces with the elbows up nonsense. Oh, Canada's going to win. Canada's going to win. And I just kept my mouth shut. And I said, you know what? The United States is better on the blue line. They got better goaltending. This is going to be one hell of a slugfest. And yeah, it went in overtime, but we lost the men's gold and we lost the women's gold, okay? We lost both. And you know why we lost? Because we're thinking like losers. And if you're a loser out there, stop destroying my country. I'm talking to you, okay? Stop destroying my country. I'm going to fight for Canada for as long as I can, and when there's no more, I'm going to leave. And they'll say, well, why don't you get out now, you idiot? Because I don't want to get out now. If I'm having an argument with my wife, do I just pack up my suitcase and hit the road? No, we work it out. We always have. If I'm having an argument with my neighbor, do I just pack up and sell my house and leave the neighborhood? No, that's what stupid people do, and that's why stupid people give those kind of answers. So I'm talking to you. Knock it off. Canada is Canada, okay? We're a large country with a small amount of people. Our big buddy is the Americans, okay? Let's work with the Americans and let's stop turning Canada into a shithole country, because that's where we're going. Sorry if I sound angry today, but you know what? I've been watching and listening. I've kept my mouth shut, and I'm tired of this bullshit, okay? Canada is way better than this. So let's work together. Okay, let's work together and let's fix this problem, because it's an easy problem to fix. Just put the eyeballs on it, ask questions, and let's start moving that way. Okay, straight ahead, not that way. Okay, have a nice day. Sorry to sound so angry, but you know what? You can only take so much of this nonsense because people are really brain damaged now, and Canadians need to wake up. That's all I can tell you. Take care. Have a wonderful day. It's Larry, the Curious Canadian, and I'm wishing everyone the very best.